Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have another book haul for you, so stay tuned. So Einstein has decided to climb up in my lap while I'm trying to film. He just wants to be on camera, isn't that right? Isn't there? But he's so cute and he's very cuddly. He's a lot bigger than he thinks he is though. Anyway, this is my book haul. I have accumulated 23 books this month. Some of these are books that I purchased around here. There are also books that I purchased while on vacation. And then this stack here, one book is a giveaway that I won, and the rest are all birthday gifts so generously given to me by, well, some of you. So I'll mention everybody that sent me a gift, but also I just wanted to say thank you, and that was even all of birthday wishes were just so incredibly sweet and kind, and I love you all. Okay, so let's just jump right into all of the books that I got. So the first books I have here, these four are ones that I purchased, I think, from Amazon. So the first one is actually one that is mostly for Xander, but I'm also interested in reading this graphic novel series. So this is The Adventure Zone, Petals to the Metal. This is volume 3, I believe, in The Adventure Zone. He has read the first 2 already and really wanted this. We were looking in our local Books A Million that's supposed to be closing down, and it was cheaper for us to get it on Amazon, even with their going out of business sale. So that's why we got this. But all I know really about this is it follows a group of people kind of into their imaginary world, I believe, from Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, next up we have The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. This was another book that Xander saw in Books A Million that he was really interested in, and we did end up buying a bunch of books from Books A Million, but those were in last month's haul. These came later, but this sounded really interesting to me too, so I intend on actually reading this. This says, when the bodies of 2 girls are found torn apart in the town of Smith's Hollow, Lauren is surprised, but she also expects the police won't catch the killer. After all, her father's body was discovered the year before with his heart missing, and since then everyone has moved on. Even her best friend Miranda has become more interested in boys than in spending time at the old ghost tree, the way they used to when they were kids. So when Lauren has a vision of a monster dragging the remains of the girls through the woods, she knows she needs to do something to help, unlike the rest of Smith's Hollow. But as she draws closer to answers, she realizes that the foundation of her seemingly normal town might be rotten, and that if nobody else stands for the missing, she will. Okay, next up is, oh my goodness, this is a book that I've been wanting for a while, and I finally caved and got it. It was on sale. I think the deal with these were like buy one, the sale that Amazon was having at the time was like buy one from a certain list and get one from that list half off, which is why I ended up buying 4. But this is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and I have heard so many good things about this book, and I am so interested in reading it. It says, a dazzling novel about all the choices that go into a life well lived. Between life and death, there is a library. Up until now, Nora Seed's life has been full of misery and regret. She feels she has let everyone down, including herself. But things are about to change. When she finds herself in the Midnight Library, she has a chance to make things right. The books in the Midnight Library enable Nora to live as if she had done things differently. Each one contains a different life, a possible world in which she made different choices that played out in an infinite number of ways, affecting everyone she knew, as well as many people she never met. With the help of an old friend, she can now undo every decision she regrets as she tries to work out her perfect life. But things aren't always what she imagined they'd be, and soon her choices place the library and herself in extreme danger. Before time runs out, she must answer the ultimate question: what is the best way to live? And I think this sounds so cool. And I think most people that I know that have read this have given it either 4 or 5 stars. So I'm really looking forward to read that. Sorry, that was a phone. Okay, next up, this is the last one that I ordered from Amazon. That is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is adult, and this is another one that I've heard a million people talking about, and they all have loved it and raved about it. And this says, twins, inseparable as children, ultimately choose to live in 2 very different worlds, one black and one white. The Vignes sisters will always be identical, but after growing up together in a small southern black community and running away at age 16, it's not just the shape of their daily lives that is different as adults, it's everything, including their racial identities. Many years later, one sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. Across the country, the other secretly passes for white, and her white husband knows nothing of her past. Still, although separated by so many miles and just as many lies, the fate of the twins remain intertwined. What will happen when their own daughter's storylines intersect? Weaving together multiple strands and generations from the deep south to California, from the 1950s to the 1990s, The Vanishing Half is at once a riveting, emotional family story and a brilliant exploration of race, gender, and identity, and the lasting influence of the past it shapes as a person's desires and expectations. And yeah, sounds super interesting. Okay, so those are all the books that I ordered from Amazon. These are the books that I picked up while on vacation. So this first one was actually a book that Xander picked up, though I'll probably read through it too because it looks kind of cute, and it'll probably take like 5 minutes to read because, well, there's like maybe a line on every other page. And that is I Used to Have a Plan, But Life Had Other Ideas by Alessandra Olanow. And it looks like this. Very, very cute. And I don't even really know how to describe this. It's not really a graphic novel, but there's things like this. And this. This says, Drawings on Life's Unpredictability. This book is a friend to those who need a little help getting through an experience that's turned their life upside down. Honest, empathetic, wise, and witty, these drawings and musings cut to the heart of what we experience when we are going through something difficult. Read it end to end or open it to any page. You'll find truth, vulnerability, and the courage to right yourself, grow stronger, and move on. And it says on the back, grow through what you go through. Okay, the next 3 are graphic novels that I'm really, really interested in reading. This first one is such a cute one. It is like this, well, it's Fangs by Sarah Anderson, and the hardcover is actually like a fabric. And this says it's a love story between a vampire and a werewolf. And the edges are black, super cute. This is what the art style looks like. It's very black and white. And that's really all I know about it, is that it's a love story between a vampire and a werewolf, and it just looks really cute. Next up we have In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and Jen Wang. And the art style, super cute and adorable. This says, Anda loves Course Gold Online, the massively multiplayer role-playing game where she spends most of her free time. It's a place where she can be a leader, a fighter, a hero. It's a place where she can meet people from all over the world and make friends. But things become a lot more complicated when Anda befriends a gold farmer, a poor Chinese kid whose avatar in the game illegally collects valuable objects and then sells them to players from developed countries with money to burn. This behavior is strictly against the rules in Course Gold, but Ada soon comes to realize that questions of right and wrong are a lot less straightforward when a real person's real livelihood is at stake. From acclaimed teen author Little Brother for the Win and Boing Boing editor Cory Doctorow and Cocoa Be Good creator Jen Wang, In Real Life is a perceptive and high-stakes look at adolescence, gaming, poverty, and culture clash. And then the last graphic novel here, this is one that I've heard a ton about. A lot of people have read it. A lot of people have loved it. This is Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. And again, the artwork, super, super cute. And this is, Nimona is an impulsive young shapeshifter with a knack for villainy. Lord Ballister Blackheart is a villain with a vendetta. As sidekick and supervillain, Nimona and Lord Blackheart are about to wreak some serious havoc. Their mission, prove to the kingdom that Sir Ambrosius Golden Lion and his buddies at the Institution of Law Enforcement and Heroics aren't the heroes everyone thinks they are. Nemesis, dragons, science, symbolism, all these things and more await in this brilliantly subversive, sharply irreverent epic from Noelle Stevenson, based on her award-winning webcomic. And then the last book I have here that came from my trip was actually the first book that I purchased while on my trip. This is when we were in Chicago, and the Wizard of Oz was written there in Chicago, and we went to where it was written and saw this cool art and stuff there, but I wanted to take pictures with the Wizard of Oz, so I purchased this stunning edition from Barnes & Noble. This is one of their Barnes & Noble classic editions, and it has this gorgeous foiled gold edges. Love it so much. The art, oh, okay. So those are all of the ones that I purchased in May. Now on to the book that I won as a giveaway. So this was a novel Couch Fest giveaway that they were doing, and the book is Eva Evergreen and the Cursed Witch by Julie Abe. And let me grab my phone because this is actually the second book in the series, though this comes out August of 2021. Let me grab my phone so I can tell you about the first book. Okay, so the first book is called Eva Evergreen Semi-Magical Witch, and it is the first in the Eva Evergreen series. This is a charming new middle grade fantasy adventure about a young witch whose pinch of magic just might be more than enough. Perfect for fans of Kiki's Delivery Service and Aru Shah in the End of Time. Sometimes all you need is a pinch of magic. Eva Evergreen is determined to earn the rank of novice witch before she turns 13 years old. If she doesn't, she'll lose her magic forever. For most young witches and wizards, it's a simple enough test. 1. Help your town, do good all around. 2. Live there for 1 moon, don't leave too soon. 3. Fly home by broomstick, the easiest of tricks. The only problem, Eva only has a pinch of magic. She summons heads of cabbage instead of flowers and gets a sunburn instead of calming down rain. And to add insult to injury, whenever she overuses her magic, she falls asleep. When she lands on the tranquil coastal town of Alteri, the residents expect a powerful witch, not a semi-magical girl. So Eva comes up with a plan. Set up a magical repair shop to aid Alteri and prove she's worthy. She may have more blood than magic, but her semi-magical fixes repaired the lives of the townspeople in ways they never could have imagined. Only Eva's bit of magic may not be enough when the biggest magical storm in history threatens the town she's grown to love. Eva must conjure up all of the magic, bravery, and cleverness she can muster, or Alteri and her dreams of becoming a witch will wash away with the storm. And I actually pre-ordered the paperback of the first book, so they sound super cute, and I'm really looking forward to reading them. And now on to the amazingly generous gifts that I was sent. So the first one here is actually only one part of the gift. So they sent me a book, and they sent me this super cute little hedgehog reading a book, and I love him, and I think he's adorable, and he stays on my shelf. The book that she sent me, and this was from Michelle Wilson, who is one of my lovely subscribers here. She sent me Marrow by Taryn Fisher, and I read The Wives by Taryn Fisher and gave it 5 stars, thought it was amazing, and want to read everything by her. So I added like everything I could find by her on my Amazon wish list, and so I'm excited to have more books by her. This one says, Margot is not like other girls. She lives in a derelict neighborhood called The Bone, in a cursed house with her cursed mother, who hasn't spoken to her in over 2 years. She lives her days feeling invisible. It's not until she develops a friendship with her wheelchair-bound neighbor, Judah Grant, that things begin to change. When neighborhood girl, 7-year-old Nevaeh Anthony, goes missing, Judah sets out to help Margot uncover what happened to her. What Margot finds changes her, and with a new perspective on life, she's determined to find evil and punish it, targeting rapists and child molesters one by one. But hunting evil is dangerous, and Margot risks losing everything, including her own soul. It looks very cool. Sounds like it's going to be a really good, creepy book. Okay, next up are books that were gifted to me by my friend Barbara. She is part of my buddy reading group as well as a subscriber here, and Barbara is such a funny character, and I always love her jokes. She sent me one book that she says is one of her favorite books, and it was one of the books on my Amazon wish list, but also a separate book in addition to that that she thinks is just cute and funny, and a cozy mystery. That is a noodle shop mystery, Death by Dumpling by Vivian Chien. And I love this cover. I think it's super cute. This says, welcome to Holy Noodle House, where the Chinese food is to die for. The last place Lana Lee thought she would ever end up is back at her family's restaurant. But after a brutal breakup and a dramatic workplace walkout, she figures that a return to the Cleveland area will help wait tables is her best option for putting her life back together. Even if that means having to put up with her mother, who is dead set on finding her a husband. Lana's love life soon becomes yesterday's news once the restaurant's property manager, Mr. Feng, turns up dead after a delivery of shrimp dumplings from Ho Lee. But how could this have happened when everyone on staff knew about Mr. Feng's severe, life-threatening shellfish allergy? Now with the whole restaurant under suspicion for murder, and the local media in a feeding frenzy, to say nothing of the gorgeous police detective who keeps turning up for takeout, it's up to Lana to find out who is behind Feng's killer order before her own number is up. And that sounds very cute. And this other one is that she says is one of her favorite books, is Book Love by Debbie Tung. And this is a graphic novel. It's a hardcover graphic novel. It's more like little small comic strips, like individual ones. And it looks like this, and it's all just super stinking cute. I've heard it's really, really funny, and I can't wait to read it. Thank you so much, Michelle and Barbara, for sending these to me. Also, if my camera moves, it's because Einstein is right here in front of me, and he has just plopped himself down up against the tripod, so hopefully he doesn't knock my camera over. Okay, next up, let's see, who are these by? Oh, these two books here were from my dear friend Clint. I love Clint. He is, well, if you watch any of my season-a-thon anything, he is one of my co-hosts there. He is one of my dearest friends on BookTube, and him and I created season-a-thon hello. Sorry about that. Einstein kind of moved the tripod around. Anyway, Clint is one of the co-hosts for Season-a-thon. Him and I were the original creators of Season-a-thon, and we've just been the best of friends for years now. And so he so kindly sent these for my birthday. The first one is a book that I know he has read and absolutely loved. I think it was a 5-star read for him. And that was Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. This says, wanted, one fake boyfriend, practically perfect in every way. Luke O'Donnell is tangentially and reluctantly famous. His rock star parents split when he was young, and the father he's never met spent the next 20 years cruising in and out of rehab. Now that his dad's making a comeback, Luke's back in the public eye, and one compromising photo is enough to ruin everything. To clean up his image, Luke has to find a nice, normal relationship, and Oliver Blackwood is as nice and normal as they come. He's a barrister and an ethical vegetarian, and he's never inspired a moment of scandal in his life. In other words, perfect boyfriend material. Unfortunately, apart from being gay, single, and really in need of a date for a big event, Luke and Oliver have nothing in common. So they strike a deal to be publicity-friendly fake boyfriends until the dust has settled. Then they can go their separate ways and pretend it never happened. And that, I think, is going to be really cute. It also says here, but the thing about fake dating is that it can feel a lot like real dating. Einstein. And that's when you get used to someone, start falling for them, don't ever want to let them go. Okay, let me fix the camera and I'll be right back. Okay, that's a little bit better, and well, Einstein just walked off, so maybe we'll be okay to finish this. Okay, the next book that Clint sent me was Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. I absolutely adored the first one, and I think Clint sent me that one as well. Maybe it was a Book Miss thing, I can't remember. But I can't really tell you much about this one because I haven't read it, and two, because it's the second book in a series, or I guess it's called a series still with graphic novel. Anyway, the first book or volume follows Nick and Charlie. They're best friends, or they meet, and Charlie is this sweet, shy, lovable gay boy, and Nick is more of the sports jockey kind of guy, but he's super sweet, and they form this great friendship, and Nick finds himself being pulled towards Charlie in other ways, and he's trying to understand those feelings, and it's super cute and very just, it's like a hug. It really is, and I cannot wait to read the second one. So thank you so much, Clint, for sending this to me. Okay, next up is another graphic novel, and this one was actually sent to me as a birthday gift from my mother-in-law. She sent me Fence Volume 1, and this is a graphic novel series that I've been really interested in reading. I know a lot of people love it. I actually have a novel for Fence, and I've been told that you can read the novel without reading the graphic novel series, but that it's better if you read the graphic novel series first before reading the novel. So I really wanted to get these. This says, Nicholas, the illegitimate son of a retired fencing champion, is a scrappy fencing wonder kid and dreams of getting the chance and the training to actually compete. After getting accepted to the prestigious King's Row private school, Nicholas is thrust into a cutthroat world and finds himself facing not only his golden boy half-brother, but the unbeatable, mysterious Seiji Katayama. Through clashes, rivalries, and romance between teammates, Nicholas and the boys of King's Row will discover there's much more to fencing than just foils and lunges. From acclaimed writer C.S. Pacat, the captive prince, and fan favorite artist Joanna the Mad. So I'm excited to check it out. Also loving this artwork. Okay, now all of these books, these are all from Kailani. So 2 of them were books. If you don't know who Kailani is, she is the other co-host for Season-a-thon. She wasn't with us from the very beginning of Season-a-thon, but she has joined us these past few rounds and is now a permanent fixture in Season-a-thon. And Clint and I just absolutely adore Kailani, and she is the sweetest thing ever. And these first 2 books are books that she sent me for my birthday. The rest of them were books that I think she was getting rid of, sending me some and sending Clint some. Okay, so the first book that she sent me for my birthday, and this is a book that I'm really super excited to read. This is another book that everybody has raved on, and every person that I've heard talk about this book has given it 5 stars. That is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I've heard nothing but amazing things. That this is just like a warm hug. It's just gonna make you happy, and I'm excited to read it. This says, a magical island, a dangerous task, a burning secret. Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. At 40, he lives in a tiny house with a devious cat and his old records for company. I don't know if you can hear that, but my cat is meowing like crazy right now. But his quiet life is about to change. Linus is summoned by extremely upper management and given a curious and highly classified assignment. Travel to an orphanage on a distant island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they're likely to bring about the end of days. When Linus arrives at that strangest of islands, he's greeted by a series of mysterious figures, the most mysterious of which is Arthur Parnassus, the master of the orphanage. As Linus and Arthur grow closer, Linus discovers the master would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world has to burn. Or worse, his secret comes to light. The House in the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story masterfully told about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours. So excited to read this. Okay, the other book that she sent me for my birthday is The Un Honeymooners by Christina Lauren, which is really cool because Christina and Lauren were actually part of one of our season-a-thons, and we had a live show with them where we were discussing autobiography, and I think this was the book that was actually coming up after, like shortly after our live show. I could be wrong about that, but I'm super excited to read more by them. This sounds super cute. What I know about this is that it's like somebody's wedding fell through and other people had to go on their honeymoon. Let me read this. For 2 sworn enemies on the Hawaiian trip of a lifetime, anything can happen. Maybe even love in this romantic comedy from the New York Times bestselling author of Roomies. Olive Torres is used to being the unlucky twin. From inexplicable mishaps to a recent layoff, her life seems to be almost comically jinxed. By contrast, her sister Amy is an eternal champion. She even managed to finance her entire wedding by winning a slew of contests. Unfortunately for Olive, the only thing worse than constant bad luck is having to spend the wedding day with the best man, and her nemesis, Ethan Thomas. Olive braces herself for wedding hell, determined to have to put on a brave face, but when the entire wedding party gets food poisoning, the only people who aren't affected are Olive and Ethan. Suddenly, there's a free honeymoon up for grabs, and Olive will be damned if Ethan gets to enjoy paradise solo. Agreeing to a temporary truce, the pair head for Maui. After all, 10 days of bliss are worth having to assume the role of loving newlyweds, right? But the weird thing is, Olive doesn't mind playing pretend. In fact, the more she pretends to be the luckiest woman alive, the more it feels like she might be. With Christina Lauren's uniquely hilarious and touching voice, The Un Honeymooners is a romantic comedy for anyone who has ever felt unlucky in love. And this sounds super cute, though it is much chunkier than I expected it to be. It is 395 pages. But oh, it is a floppy paperback, and I love me a floppy paperback. Thank you so much for Kailani for those. Okay, now on to the other books that she was going to get rid of, but sent to me instead. Well, she still got rid of them because she sent them to me, but anyway, the first one here is Orphan Island by Laurel Snyder. And I believe this is middle grade. This says, 9 on an island, orphans all, anymore the sky might fall. On the island, everything is perfect. The sun rises in a sky filled with dancing shapes. The wind, water, and trees shelter and protect those who live there. When the 9 children go to sleep in their cabins, it is with full stomachs and joy in their hearts. And only one thing ever changes. On that day, each year, when a boat appears from the midst upon the ocean, carrying one young child to join them, and taking the eldest one away, never to be seen again. Today's changing is no different. The boat arrives, taking away Jenny's best friend Dean, replacing him with a new little girl named S, and leaving Jenny as the new elder. Jenny knows her responsibility now, to teach S everything she needs to know about the island, to keep things as they've always been. But will she be ready for the inevitable day when the boat will come back and take her away forever from the only home she's known? Acclaimed author Laurel Snyder returns with a powerful, original, unforgettable story of growing up. The things we fight to hold on to and the things we struggle to let go. And this one looks like so. I didn't show you what anything else looked like. Oh well. Anyway, next up we have One Small Sacrifice by Hilary Davidson, and this is a thriller. This says, what does this say? Hold on. NYPD detective Sharon Sterling has had her eye on Alex Traynor ever since his friend Corey fell to her death under suspicious circumstances a year ago. Corey's death was ruled a suicide, but Sharon thinks Alex, a wartime photojournalist suffering from PTSD, got away with murder. When Alex's fiancée, Emily, a talented and beloved local doctor, suddenly goes missing, Sharon suspects that Alex is again at the center of a sticky case. Sharon dislikes loose ends, and Corey's death had way too many of them. But as Sharon starts pulling at the threads in this web, her whole theory unravels. Everyone involved remembers the night Corey died differently, and the truth about her death could be the key to solving Emily's disappearance. Well, sounds very interesting. Next we have The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. And this, I think both of these, this was an arc that came out in June 2019. And this one's an arc that came out in October of 19. This says, when Mouse's dad asks her to clean out her dead grandmother's house, she says yes. After all, how bad could it be? Answer, pretty bad. Grandma was a hoarder and her house is packed to the gills with useless garbage. That would be horrors enough, but there's more. Mouse stumbles across her step-grandfather's journal, which at first seems to be the ravings of a broken mind, until she encounters some of the terrifying things he described for herself. Alone in the woods with her dog, Mouse has to confront a series of impossible terrors because sometimes the things that go bump in the night are real, and they're looking for you. And if she doesn't face them head on, she might not survive to tell the tale. Okay, the next book we have here is Unbirthday by Liz Braswell. And this is Kailani's least favorite out of the Disney Twisted Tales. I personally am really excited to read this because it's based on Alice in Wonderland. But Kailani doesn't like Alice in Wonderland, and she thinks that's probably why she didn't really enjoy this story. But it says, what if Wonderland was in peril and Alice was very, very late? Alice is different from other 18-year-old ladies in Victorian Kexford, which is perfectly fine with her. She'd rather spend golden afternoons taking pictures with her trusty camera, chatting with her outrageous Aunt Vivian, or visiting the children in the square than receiving visitors or doing embroidery. Thank you very much. She's also interested in learning more about the young lawyer she just met, but only because he's rather curious, not because he's rosy-cheeked and charming. But when Alice develops the latest photographs of her neighbors, strangely familiar faces appear instead. The Queen of Hearts, the Mad Hatter, even the Caterpillar. There's something quite off about them, even for Wonderland creatures. And in her self-portrait, Alice finds the most disturbing image of all, an imprisoned and injured, dark-haired girl begging for Alice's help. Returning to the place of nonsense from her childhood, Alice finds herself on a mission to stop the Queen of Hearts' mad military march across Wonderland and to find her place in both worlds. But will she be able to do so before the end of time? So exciting. And then last but certainly not least, she sent me The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. And she tabbed the heck out of this thing. I don't know if you can see that. Like the first half, she tabbed the heck out of it. And I would love to know what her tabs meant for each thing. This says, from 3-time Hugo Award-winning and New York Times best-selling author N.K. Jemisin, The City We Became tells a revolutionary story of culture, magic, and myths in a contemporary New York City. In Manhattan, a young grad student gets off the train and realizes he doesn't remember who he is, where he's from, or even his own name. But he can sense the beating heart of the city, see its history, and feel its power. In the Bronx, a Lenape gallery director discovers strange graffiti scattered throughout the city. So beautiful and powerful, it's as if the paint is literally calling to her. In Brooklyn, a politician and mother find she can hear the songs of her city pulsing to the beat of her Louis Vuitton heels. And they're not the only ones. Every great city has a soul. Some are ancient as myths, and others are as new and destructive as children. New York City, she's got 6. Love it. Very excited. And I don't know why she was getting rid of this one, but I very much thank her for sending it to me. So have you guys read these books? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!